What's up YouTube? It's Comic Zealot, and in this video I'm going to tell you my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. They are in no particular order. It was basically as I thought of them, but we will start with my number one show of all time. That is not a contest. It is The Walking Dead. A friend of mine wanted to go to Chicago's Comic-Con, and she was going for mainly Norman Reedus because she loves Boondock Saints and The Walking Dead, and I went originally because I love Jeremy Renner, who is my favorite actor of all time. And I thought, well, my friend's going to go with me to the Jeremy Renner stuff, even though she's not that familiar with him. So I better learn a little bit about The Walking Dead so I can go to her stuff. So I started binging season 1. I watched the first episode and I was instantly hooked, and the rest is history. So I've been a fan only for a few years. I just love, I'm not even a fan of like zombies at all, or like horror. I didn't think I was a fan of horror. Now I kind of am. But zombies were so not a thing I was into, but the show and the characters and kind of the whole sociology of their group and the whole survivalist aspect, the characters themselves, like it captivated me from day one. The show really can completely suck me in and distract me from the things that are normally going on inside my head, which is a huge thing. I'm just so passionate about it, and I love talking about it, and I love thinking about it, and no show will ever pass up The Walking Dead for me as favorite show. My favorite character on the show was Shane Walsh, who of course, as most of you know, died very early on in the series. He was only in the first 2 seasons, but I will defend that character to the death because I think Shane was not a bad guy. I actually think Shane was a very good guy. Ironically, when Shane died, which he died because he was trying to kill Rick, Rick became my next favorite character because Rick gained a little bit of cojones and realized he had to be tough in this new world. So Rick has always been my favorite character since then, but I also really love Negan because as a villain, he's fantastic. I think the show needed a villain really badly for so many seasons, and I know a lot of people think Negan killed the show, but I honestly really think that he saved it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays him so well, and he's such a lovable character, even though he's so heinous and awful. So I think that's a testament to both Jeffrey's acting as well as the writing. Walking Dead, number 1. My second favorite TV show is The West Wing. I got into this show a little bit after it started as well. I think it was actually off the air by the time I started watching it. I saw it in a college class. We saw 1 episode, and it was about the Stackhouse filibuster. And my friend Matt said to me, "This show's amazing. Have you ever seen it?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "You should watch it." I had Netflix back then. I had the disc version. And I sent for season 1, disc 1. I watched 1 episode. I was halfway through the first episode of that show, and I thought, I'm going to love this, and I bought the whole series on DVD. I do not regret it. As if the title doesn't give it away, it's a political show about a administration. Martin Sheen played the president. It's a phenomenal show. It won a lot of Emmys, and you quickly learn why that is. My favorite character on that show was Josh Lyman, played by Bradley Whitford, but all the characters are amazing. I also really loved Sam Seaborn, who was played by Rob Lowe, and I was really bummed when he left the show, even though I do like the other things Rob Lowe has done in his career. It's just, I loved Sam Seaborn so much. And of course, I also love Jed Bartlett, played by Martin Sheen. Political drama, great character development, intense plots. If you like government at all, you would like this show. Third favorite show is 24. I like 24 mainly for its originality and the fact that up to that point, I don't think any show existed that really just took place the whole season over 1 day. I love Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer. It's hard for me to watch him play other things, not because he's a bad actor, but because Kiefer to me is Jack Bauer. Love the character of Jack from season 1 to season 8. Such an intense show. You can't watch 1 episode. You have to watch multiple because it's so intense and leaves you hanging. And although there's similarities between the seasons, each season is quite different, and they focus on a different type of terrorism and stuff. So I love it. I rewatch it all the time. My favorite character is Jack Bauer, but I also love George Mason, who was played by Xander Berkeley, who was also on The West Wing and on The Walking Dead. And I also love Tony Almeida. Fourth favorite show, I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was the first show I ever, the first grown-up show I ever liked. I started watching it when I was about 6, when my brother was born, because I was a Nick kid, And at a certain time of night, which was when my brother was basically getting put to bed by my mom, it would switch over and it would be Nick at Night. And I Love Lucy played first. And I just loved, I didn't really understand the show, obviously, but I know that I loved Desi Arnaz, and he was my first celebrity crush. The show just has a lot of nostalgic value for me. I never get sick of it. I love everything about it. I've watched every episode a million times. My least favorite character actually is Lucy, to be honest. Not a big fan of Lucille Ball, although she was very funny in some episodes. My favorite character is probably Fred, and then Ethel, and then Ricky, even though Ricky is played by Desi Arnaz, who I think is super handsome. But Fred and Ethel were great. I think they're underrated, and those two actors are very talented. Fifth favorite show, definitely not ranked number 5, but I said these weren't in any order. Impractical Jokers. I could do a really long video on this, and I probably will at some point, but it's a show about 4 best friends. They've known each other since high school, and they try to embarrass each other in public. It's a hidden camera reality show, as they like to say. And they try to push each other to the limit, and they know each other so well that they can come up with things that they think will trump them and make them stumble and slip up. But sometimes they surprise them, and the person who refuses the most or gets kind of the lowest score of the episode has a punishment, which usually has to do with a fear or being humiliated or sometimes even risk of physical injury. And these 4 guys have great chemistry. They're natural comedians, and I adore them to pieces. I've watched this show since day 1. I've seen them live a whole bunch of times. I went on their cruise last year, going on their one in the following year. They're the 4 sweetest guys you will ever meet. So thankful to their fans. Treat them very well. And such a pleasure to be around. And I could not say enough about these guys as people and the show. So if you're looking for a new show that'll make you laugh, truTV and Practical Jokers, it will not let you down, I promise. And by the way, if anyone watches it that's watching this, Team Q all the way. 6th favorite show is Curb Your Enthusiasm. I got into this late as well, only about a year or 2 years ago. It is on HBO, and it is written by Larry David, who also wrote Seinfeld. It's like Seinfeld in the sense that really nothing happens in the episodes. That's kind of what Seinfeld was known for. It was kind of a show about nothing. Curb is like that. But for some reason, I don't really like Seinfeld, and I love Curb. I guess it's because I love Larry. I don't know. But it's so funny and so clever, and it's so regular. I mean, it's almost like they're not even acting. It's just like regular things that happen. And I'm not really selling it very well, but I promise you this show is fantastic. I don't have HBO, but it's on Prime, so that's where I discovered it and love it to death. Hi, baby. Hi. Hi, honey. Hi, babe. My next favorite show is Parks and Rec. Now, before I got into Parks and Rec, I would probably put The Office on my list. But Parks and Rec beat it, and there's one reason why Parks and Rec beat it. Ron Swanson, a.k.a. Nick Offerman. He is absolutely hysterical. The character is so funny. The writing is fantastic. Amy Poehler is very talented as well. It's like The Office, and it has that same fake documentary feel. I honestly think it's funnier, and it could be because I have such an affection for Ron Swanson as a character, and also because Chris Pratt is on it, because he's super hot. I love it. I loved it more than I thought I would, and I only gave it a shot because my brother recommended it. And I can see why. My favorite character on the show is Ron, and then my second favorite character is Ben Wyatt, who's played by Adam Scott. I love Ron he's just got great lines. His personality's hysterical. He's very, uber, libertarian, uber manly, he carves his own furniture and he just eats meat. He's just really funny. You have to see him to believe it. I like Ben Wyatt because he's like a cute nerd, and everyone loves cute nerds, or at least I love cute nerds. So that's why I like him. Next favorite show is Stranger Things. Got into this one late as well. I started watching season 1 right after season 2 got released on Netflix. So, people have been talking about it. I didn't know anything about it really at all, except there were kids in it, and the kids were the stars, but I didn't know anything else. And the first season's very short. It's 8 episodes maybe, and I binged it in 2 days. you just want to keep watching. It is such a unique, weird show, but the 4 kids are so adorable. Well, there's 5 kids, I guess. They're so adorable. And great actors, too. And then the second season came out, and I'm thinking, how are they really going to build off of what the first season was about? And they did. And I can't wait for season 3 now. Without really spoiling it, it's a story set kind of in the 80s, and there's kind of like an alternative dimension. That's all I'll say, really. My favorite character is Chief Hopper, Jim Hopper. He's the policeman, and he's played by David Harbour. Absolutely adore this character. And then my second favorite character is Eleven, who's played by Millie something Brown? Millie Bobby Brown? Something like that. She's absolutely adorable. And I also like, out of the 4 boys, I think my favorite one is probably Will, the kid that actually goes through all the turmoil, because it shows what a good actor that kid is. His name is Noah. Stranger Things is like sci-fi, mystery. I don't even know how to really classify it, but it's really good. So if you've heard about Stranger Things and you're just kind of contemplating watching it, I would say absolutely watch it and give it more than one episode. You will not be sorry. Another favorite show of mine is one that probably very few of you have heard of. It's called Kitchen Confidential. It was on in very early 2000s, and it starred my favorite actor. Well, it stars the actor I think is the most beautiful actor in Hollywood, Bradley Cooper. It's a kitchen show, obviously. He's a chef. It's about, it's actually based loosely off of Anthony Bourdain, or whatever his name is, that chef. In the show, his name is Jack, but they kept the last name, so it's Jack Bourdain. And he's this cocky New York chef, and he gets control over a new restaurant, and it's just kind of like dealing with that. It's a comedy. It was only on for 1 season, but I thought it was really good. I'm not just biased because Bradley was in it. I thought it had good characters, and it was funny, and I was a little bummed that it only made that first season, because I thought it was pretty good. And my last favorite show that also only had 1 season, that also stars one of my favorite actors, well, my ultimate favorite actor, Jeremy Renner, is called The Unusuals. It was a cop show out of New York City, and Jeremy played one of the cops, and it was great. There's too many cop shows, which is probably why it got axed. It's hard to compete when there's a lot of different law shows and things like that, but I thought it was funny. It was dramatic. I liked the characters, and more so than Kitchen Confidential, with The Unusuals, I really just wanted to see it go further, because it was a full season, so it ended, in a sense, there's closure, but then you really kind of wanted more. So that was a bummer that it only lasted 1 season. My favorite character, of course, is Jeremy, and the other 2 main, there's a few main cops. The 2 cops that were partners were, I don't know their real names, so I'm going to put them down here when I edit this, but the one guy was on Lost, and he played, I think his name was Michael. He was the African-American guy with the son. And he's really serious and intense in Lost, but then on The Unusuals, he was really funny. On the flip side, his partner is the guy who plays Eddie on Friends, which he was really intense and creepy. Well, supposed to be funny, I guess. And on this show, he's more serious. So it's like these 2 actors that I'd seen in other things kind of did a whole different type of role in this show, and I thought they did them very well. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 favorite shows of all time. In no particular order, except Walking Dead is number 1. Comment below if you like any of these shows, or if you're going to check out any of these shows. Just comment below. I love comments. If you are a new subscriber, first of all, hello and thank you. Second of all, if you do not have your subscriptions blocked or set to private, you'll make it on my thank you for subscribing page, which will be coming up at the end of an upcoming video. To all my subscribers, old and new, thank you for supporting me and engaging with me. You know I appreciate it. My video shout out for today goes to Miss Amy. Miss Amy, thank you for watching my channel and engaging with me and supporting me. I support you back. The video I just watched of hers, she was doing a giveaway. I would highly encourage you to check out her channel if you are a proud nerd like myself. You will not regret it. If you're interested in checking out Miss Amy's channel, I will put her link in the pinned comment below. Thank you for watching this video, for giving it a thumbs up, and for dropping a comment down below with your thoughts. And until the next time, peace.